Hello there, welcome everyone. We'll talk about DMC or disaster management cycle in this very crisp video that is going to be enacted right now. So yes, what is disaster management cycle? It's a very simple procedure that we need to understand. Disaster management cycle comprises of basically four stages of preparation, response, recovery, and mitigations. Remember, what we are talking about it, preparation is before the event, before the disaster in this case happens. Response is during the emergency, what we are doing around it. And recovery is post the event, in this case the disaster, as in restoration process or reconstruction process. Then what is mitigation? Mitigation is nothing but preparing for future disaster, future similar events like capacity building. So yes, these are the four segments of disaster management cycle. I repeat: preparation, response, recovery, and mitigation. Preparation in terms of pre-impact, responses with regard to the emergency that is happened right now at that point of time. Recovery is all about reconstruction and restoration work. Mitigation, definitely preparing yourself, the community in this case, for future similar event, as in building capacity is concerned. So let us understand mitigation. Remember what has happened. You see, you come, it might be an earthquake, it can be shattered, it can be a fire alarm. This is a building that has been shattered. The elevators has been shattered. The fire door, if you look into it, has gone all wrong. Nothing is right in this pic. So what do we need to understand for future kind of event, future similar event? Can the building be fortified? Can the reconstruction be done with different kind of material, which makes it much more conducive to the event, similar events, or probably it helps us in protecting lives? So we need to fight it out, understand it, and build capacity, study the impact, study the devastation, and come up with a solution which is bit sustainable, bit long term per se. Planning, disaster planning, there are only six steps that goes around it. What are they? First and foremost is to have a collaborative team plan. Collaborative plan. What is it? We are talking about a core team. What is it? We are talking about a core common framework. What is it? We need to put defined assigned duties and responsibility to a different person and determine a regular schedule of meeting as on when on basis. That is nothing but step one. What is step two? Step two is to understand the devastation, understand the emergency, understand the disaster, identify it, assess the risk, and prioritize the threats and results. Step number three is to determine your overall goal and overall objectives as on when on basis. Then comes step number four. This is where you need to identify the development, the stages of going through to achieve your goals. Step number five is what we are going around it, is to plan, prepare, review, approve the format, the plan, everything. Everything needs to be documented. Everything needs to be narrated. The narrative has to be recorded. The narrative has to be married post whatever, post the execution part. And step number six is where you plan the implementation and maintenance part, as in your community educations, training the stakeholders, exercise the drill, perhaps review, raise, and so on and so forth. So preparedness cycle is to plan, begins from organizing group to training to exercising, having a mock drill, and looking for avenues to evaluate and improve upon it. That is what the preparation cycle is all about it. This is what we will be talking about of disaster management cycle. The business community plan is where we want to spring back to normalcy. Even how faster we can do, we spring back. How slower we can do, we limp back. But we come back to normalcy. That's the end objective. A vital record is to be recorded information that must protect an event of an emergency or disaster, because of the severe consequences to the office and the university as a whole, and the record is never lost or destroyed perhaps. So emergency response operation centers are key leaders to be engaged. Identify people, identify the opinion leaders, identify the community leaders, identify the elected political leaders out there. They need to own up their responsibility. Don't underestimate the flow of information, the need of information, the spread of information. This is what the response is all about. It make consensus, make people aware of it, and always be open to any sort of request resources, anything. Be open-minded, and that is the only way to help everyone. Look what has happened in this pic. A patient, if I may say, a victim, which is an appropriate word, is been transported over an escalator and not through a lift. Over an escalator, they have been transported. The oxygen, the IV fluids has been carried out. Everybody is helping around here. So recovery room is something where we need to understand what can be done and what need to be done. Recovery is bringing back to normalcy. You need to have stable infrastructure. You need to have stable education about the community. In the previous pic, I showed a victim being carried over an escalator. Can there be a lift? Perhaps there is a lift. Perhaps the lift is malfunctioned. You need to understand what goes wrong, and probably everything goes wrong during emergency, and how do you come up with it. What are the alternative ways in such a scenario is what we need to go plan for it, and that is what recovery is all about it. With this, I come to an end of disaster management cycle. Hope you have understood what is disaster management cycle. It is all about preparedness, it is all about response, it is all about recovery, and the last one is your mitigation. With this, thank you very much for watching this video till the end.